has raised tropical cyclone warning signal number 2 over the province of Batanes, as well as the northeastern portion of Cagayan. This includes Babuyan Islands. Meanwhile, signal number 1 has been raised over the rest of mainland Cagayan and the province of Apayao. Under the same warning signal are portions of Isabela, Ilocos Norte, Kalinga, and Abra. Some provinces are also forecasted to experience rains brought about by the southwest monsoon or habagat tomorrow. These include Batangas, Occidental Mindoro, and Antique. Habagat-induced rains are also expected to fall over provinces like Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, Batangas, and Antique starting Wednesday night. Typhoon Betty is expected to be downgraded to a severe tropical storm before the week ends.
Nakita po natin sa ating latest analysis na maaari itong lumabas or lalabas ito ng ating area of responsibility by Friday. And also, nakita din po natin na mataas yung tsansa na patuloy ngang hihina itong si Bagyong Betty. And by late Thursday or early Friday ay posible na lamang po itong maging severe tropical storm. And throughout ng forecast period natin, hindi rin natin inaalis yung possibility na mas magiging mabilis pa yung paghina nito due to unfavorable environment.
As Typhoon Betty continues to traverse the Philippine area of responsibility, some areas continue to experience inclement weather. Strong winds have been felt in Baguio City, where the red alert status has been raised along with the rest of the Cordillera region. Classes from preschool to senior high school have been suspended for the day in the city. The regional government is also keeping watch for possible landslides in nearly 700 barangays. In Cagayan, the local Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office called on residents to temporarily move to evacuation centers. This as some parts of the province endured heavy rains throughout the day. Authorities also warned residents living near the ocean of the possible effects of the typhoon. Meanwhile, fisherfolk in Ilocos Norte have been barred from taking to sea due to the signal number 1 raised over the province. The local government explains that while setting sail does not look as dangerous as it should be, there was still the risk of stronger waves. The local government has vowed to extend assistance to over 400 fisherfolk whose livelihoods have been by the warning. 4 houses in one barangay in Baler, Aurora have been destroyed following a storm surge brought about by the typhoon. The PDRRMO in the province says the structures were easily destroyed as they were made of light materials. Although no casualties were reported, the local government is now examining the extent of the damage to find out how much assistance the families need. A gale warning has been raised over the entire Mindoro province due to the possible effect of the southwest monsoon. For this reason, fisherfolk are temporarily barred from setting sail. Rescue equipment such as ambulances and boats are now on standby in case the weather worsens. Still on Oriental Mindoro, the Philippine Coast Guard expressed confidence that it could siphon the remaining oil from the sunken MT Princess Empress in a month. On Monday, the PCG has begun siphoning the remaining oil from the sunken MT vessel in the waters of Nauhan. This comes as a dynamic support vessel or DSV Fire Opal, which will siphon the oil arrived from Singapore. Princess Empress was carrying 800,000 liters of industrial fuel when it sank on February 28. The PCG estimates that around 100,000 to 120,000 liters may still be left in 1 or 2 containers of the tanker. The Office of Civil Defense meanwhile clarified that DSV Fire Opal is not tasked to lift the sunken tanker.
We have to understand yung practical side nga. This is 400 meters ang lalim kung saan nandun yung barko. Kung makakaigiban talagang tanggalin o hayaan na lang. This is something to be discussed.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. Among members of the Senate majority who expressed reservations for the Maharlika Investment Fund is presidential sister, Senator Amy Marcos, who believes that the fund's purpose should still be clarified. Senators are currently fast-tracking deliberations of the proposed Maharlika Investment Fund, which has been certified as urgent by Amy's brother, President Marcos. The Senate recorded complete attendance on Monday's session as lawmakers rushed to tackle priority bills, including the MIF, before June 2, when Congress is set to adjourn session for a 2-month break. Despite this, Senate Majority Leader Joel Villanueva assures that proposals will still be scrutinized thoroughly until Wednesday. But Senator Amy says it should also be made clear where the government will source funding for the measure, noting that current funds are not enough for such investments. Senator Amy Marcos also believes that passing the bill should not be rushed.
Ako, kung sakasakaling minamadali, hindi ako papayag kasi malaking pera yan, mababaon ang ating mga anak at hindi dapat minamadali yung ganyan. Ang balita ko, pati yung DOF, may pinapasok pang amendment.
Senator Chis Escudero also expressed concern over Maharlika's funding. He notes that the Maharlika Investment Corporation, or the body that will oversee the investment fund, has not undergone a test of economic viability. Escudero says this is required under the 1987 Constitution, based on the provision on establishment of government-owned and controlled corporations, or GOCCs. The lawmaker says this will serve as basis in assessing if the fund has the potential to earn through investments.
Kung ito'y kikita nga ba o hindi. Dahil nga sa karanasan natin noong panahon ng Marcelo, ang daming nilikhang GOCC na lahat naman ay nalugi lamang. Sinasabi nila, makakatulong daw ito sa bansa dahil makakagawa ng tulay, ng kalye, ng dam, ng school building, at iba mga ospital. Ang tanong ko, ito'y korporasyon. Sabi nila kikita. Nasaan ang kita ng gobyerno pag nagpagawa sila ng kalye?
The management of Philippines Air Asia warns that opening of plane doors mid-flight could be very dangerous to passengers. This follows the incident in a South Korean flight where a passenger opened an exit door while the plane was flying at an altitude of 700 feet. Air Asia Philippines spokesperson Steve Dailisan explains that opening exit doors mid-flight could cause a drop in oxygen inside the cabin, especially if the plane is flying at high altitudes. Opening doors will depressurize the cabin, and even if the aircraft is flying below the minimum sector altitude of 10,000 feet, passengers may still experience discomfort. Protocols that could be done by pilots and flight attendants under such situations include the conduct of emergency landings. Dailisan says flight attendants are also trained to handle unruly passengers. To prevent such situations, Dailisan says airlines are also very strict in designating front row seats to passengers.
At any point na you feel any discomfort during the flight, at tingin mo unbearable ito, pwede mong i-approach yung cabin crew, and based on their assessment, they will report to the pilot in command, and then gagawa ng decision yung pilot in command kung ano yung next best alternative para dun sa situation.
Heads up, motorists! Fuel prices are seeing mixed adjustments today. Oil companies are implementing a price increase of 1 peso and 10 centavos per liter on gasoline. Prices of kerosene, on the other hand, are slashed by 35 centavos per liter. This marks the third straight week of price hikes for gasoline and the second week of rollbacks for kerosene. Diesel prices, meanwhile, are seeing no movement this week. And that's it for this hour. Join us again at 7:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.